Hello and welcome in. Today I'm at the park once again. A couple of videos ago, I think 2 videos ago, I was also at the park. But this is a different park and a more special park. I actually haven't been here in like a long time. But if any of you like Sufjan Stevens, there's a song of his called Eugene, which is about my hometown. And there's a line in that song where he talks about Emerald Park.
Emerald Park, wonders never cease. The man who taught me to swim, he couldn't quite say my first name.
And Emerald Park is a place that I grew up going to a lot as a kid. I spent a lot of summers here. There's this like concert series in the park that I went to all the time as a kid because our family friends are the ones that kind of do the band stuff. And I haven't been here in a long time, but so today I'm sitting here in honor of Sufjan Stevens, thinking about Emerald Park and spending summers here as a kid. So I don't know, it's so fun to think about like that I've spent so much time in the same place that he spent so much time as a young person. There's lots of kids screaming, there's yard work happening across the street, there's lots of sounds, lots of things going on. But I'm kind of eating it up like it's a good vibe, you know? Anyways, today I have my winter favorites. I don't know why, but it just feels so spring today in Oregon. Like the weather is just beautiful. The sun is shining. Woke up in a good mood. I don't think spring officially starts for another little bit. But honestly, for some reason, I woke up today and I was like, it's the first day of spring to me in my brain. So that's what we're rolling with, which means it's time to do a full list of winter favorites. And I actually have a lot of things to talk about. I also have some green tea in my tiny little flask. So I kind of broke stuff up into categories and tried to choose like 2 to 4 things for each. So my categories are drinks and food, things, so just like completely random things, books, shows, music, internet, and perfume. So I'm just gonna start from the top. I'm a huge tea drinker. I drink a lot of tea, especially in the wintertime. And one of my favorites this winter and like kind of for the Christmas season was Taylor's Christmas tea, which I do plan to be drinking year round. I love that tea so much. It's so warm and cozy, and it has citrusy notes, which I really love in seasonal teas and winter teas. So there's that orange, there's the kind of traditional spice that you find in Christmas teas. It's so nice just to see kids running around and having a good time. Like that was me when I was a kid, like 15 years ago. That's so weird that I haven't been a kid in like 15 years. Anyways, so yeah, Taylor's Christmas tea was my favorite like seasonal tea, I would say. The other tea that I really have been loving, and like I think I will continue to drink it throughout the spring, is the Harney & Sons Bartlett pear tea. I bought a container of it and it was loose leaf, which I didn't realize when I purchased it, but that's just my fault for not looking at the description enough. But I've been really enjoying that, and I love it because I haven't had a pear tea that also has kind of spicy notes in it as well, and this pear tea in particular does have kind of the Christmas spices I was talking about in it, and it really adds to it in a way that you wouldn't have expected. So I've been loving that, and so has my mom. We've both been kind of on a pear tea kick. So those are kind of the 2 teas. That's always like the backbone of my season, is like what teas I've been drinking. I kind of want to do a whole video about tea because I have so many favorite teas and so many like different kinds of teas, different brands that I have opinions on. And I love teacups and just like tea things generally. So I might make a video about that later. Next on my food list is these gummy choco candies. I think the brand is Meiji. I'm probably not saying that correctly, but my supervisor got me a little container of them for Christmas, and I am obsessed with them. You get them at the Asian grocery store. And we work. Oh, someone's singing happy birthday. That's so cute. There's like a birthday party with a bunch of kids and balloons and bikes, and how cute. I love this park. Birthday to you. Anyways, so my supervisor and I obviously work together, and the place that we work is really close to an Asian grocery store. So after she bought those for me and I ate them all, I was like, girl, we gotta go back and get more. So we went back and bought more, and we're also on, I'm not really counting this as a winter favorite, but we are on a kick with the Peelers candies. We have tried 13 different flavors of Peelers candies, and you can get them at the Asian grocery store, but they also have them other places. So the last thing in my food category is miso soup, which is something I've loved for a long time, but I've never really been fixated on it. Like, I never had a moment where I was drinking it every day, all the time, making it at home, buying it when I go out to get, like, at a sushi restaurant or Japanese restaurant, whatever it be. But that's how it was this season. Like, I had so much miso soup, and I'm still kind of on that kick. And it's just been really fun and yummy. And just a good way to kind of, it's just like a good snack for me, a good way to kind of fill my stomach without a ton of calories. I've been trying to be better about what I eat and, like, watching the calories a little more, so miso soup has been a really great way to do that because I love salty foods, like really, really, really salty, high in sodium foods, and miso soup really scratches that itch for me without being super high in calories. So that's kind of my drink and food list. Next up is my things. I'm going to tell you about the one that I'm most excited to share. This is, like, my most proud acquisition of the winter months. I've been wanting one of these for so long. This is a Sony prs-300 e-reader. She looks like this. I bought her off of eBay, brand new. It was like an Eat, Pray, Love special edition, like special release or movie tie-in thing. And so it basically just came with an Eat, Pray, Love case, which I didn't really like that much, and also it was so old that it was kind of, the leather on it was kind of like falling apart. It was fake leather. So I've just been using this little pouch thing it came with, but I love this thing so much. I've wanted an e-reader for a really long time, but I didn't want to support Amazon and buy a Kindle, which I guess I could have bought it used, but I don't know. I just felt so much more called towards Sony. I love Sony tech, and this has been, like, on my wish list for so long, and I finally caved, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna buy it. It's so, so wonderful, and I have read so many amazing books, and I've only had it for maybe a month and a half at this point. But it's so nice because I do love to read in bed, but I also hate having the big light on, and, like, rolling around in bed with a big ol' honkin' book, so it's kind of nice just to have something, like, small and compact that I can read in bed with, or just, like, if I have a really, really long, thick book that I don't want to carry with me, I can just download it and put it onto that thing, and it makes it so much more convenient. So yeah, I think that's, like, my top favorite winter item thus far. I am in love with it, and I think I will be in love with it for a really long time, and I can't wait to download more books to it. Okay, the next thing is hair clips. I went to this thrift store in Florence, Oregon, and they had this little bag of, like, vintage hair clips, and so I bought them, and there's one silver one that I'm just so in love with, and I've worn hair clips so much this season since I bought them. I think that was last month. It was, like, early January. And I've just generally been wearing more hair clips, which has been so fun. So I have that bag of thrifted ones. I have some that my mom got for me, like, 2 years ago that I'm still wearing pretty consistently. I love just, like, little clips like this or barrettes, just fun hair things. I've tried to do more fun stuff with my hair recently. So hair clips have definitely made that a more fun journey. Okay, the next thing is my tea thermos, which is the other half of what this is, and my phone's currently leaning against it, so I can't show it to you, but maybe I'll put in a clip or something over the top. I love this thing so much, and I love it because it's one that you can pour the tea out of the flask into the little cup. So you have a teacup with you everywhere you go. I got this for Christmas. It was on my wish list. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this thing has just been so much fun, and it's so nice to bring to school with me because it's very much leak proof, like mega leak proof. So I don't have to, like, if I put it in my bag or something, I'm not really that concerned about it leaking. I've loved it so much because, like I said, winter is definitely tea season for me. So it's just nice to not have to go out and buy tea or buy a drink or not feel like I need to buy a caffeinated like energy drink. I'm very much addicted to Alani's still. I was hoping I'd break that addiction by now, but so it's nice, like, if I want to force myself to not buy a drink on campus, I will make myself tea before I leave the house, and then I'm like, I already have a drink. I don't want to carry around 2 drinks anyways. So It keeps everything really, really, really piping hot, which is amazing. And I always have that problem with like my to-go thermoses or mugs that have like the little flip top lid or the sliding one. Everything just gets cold way too fast, and I really just wanted something that didn't do that. So this thing has been amazing. It's Thermos brand, by the way. Okay, next up. Okay, I am usually not a person that ever talks about shoes. Like, I don't think I've ever talked about shoes on my channel because for a good portion of high school and early college, I was very much an Air Force One girl, which is weird. Like, they were just my go-to shoe for everything, and I went through like I think 2 or 3 pairs of them by this point, because they're just really comfortable and good for everything. But anyways, I finally upgraded my everyday shoe to a Mary Jane, and it's the Earth brand, like burgundy Mary Jane. I'm not wearing them today. I decided to wear my Air Force Ones to the park because it's muddy and I didn't want to get them all yucky. But for the most part, they are my everyday shoe now. They are so comfortable. They have a little bit of a heel, which I love. And I feel like they just go with everything. And what's so funny is that I got the red pair and my mom bought a black pair for herself. So we kind of just trade back and forth. Like, if my red shoes go with her outfit, then she'll wear those. And if her black shoes go with my outfit, then I'll wear those. So it's been a lot of fun to like trade the Mary Janes back and forth with my mom because we're the same shoe size, which really, really works out in my favor. So yeah, we've been doing that. I love a Mary Jane. I wasn't really into them for a long time, but I really like the style of these. They're not too like, I don't know, they're very, not androgynous. What is the word? I feel like it starts with a G or has a G in it. Not androgynous. I can't think of the word. But they just kind of go with everything. They're no frills, straightforward, good, comfortable walking shoes, which I love. Okay, that's it for the things category. Next up is books. The first one I want to talk about very briefly, because I talked about it in the other video that I was at the park, is among other things, I've taken up smoking. That book changed my life. I love books that are about New York, are about like the coast, are about kind of coming of age generally. And the premise of the book is that there's this girl and she grows up on this like coastal Maine island with her father, and he's very much a reclusive figure, and kind of they don't get out much generally, either of them. But he studies a lot. He's very much he's translating Ovid's Metamorphoses. And so eventually his daughter, the main character, gets sent to New York to work with her father's like a classics institute or something. She goes to New York, which is very much up my alley because I love classics, stuff about classics. And then she kind of like, the part when she's in New York is very much about her learning about life and about love and about like people, because she just wasn't, there were people in her life, but there weren't like a lot of different personalities. So it's very much her coming of age in a really unique way, and I love the way that it was done. I love the cover of the book. I love everything about that book. It was my first read of the year, and it was my first 5-star read of the year. Like that, I haven't had a 5-star read in a long time, so it felt really good for the first book of the year to be a 5-star for me. And it's a really quick, easy read. It's a pretty short book. I think it was under like 200 pages. But yeah, I adored that book. So that was such a great way to start the year. Definitely a great way to, definitely a great read to integrate into my winter. Okay, the next book is technically like, it's a series. And listen, I'm very much like, if you've watched my videos before, you know that I'm a classics girl through and through. I love literary fiction. That's about as far as I go into like modern writing. I love classics. I love Greek mythology. I love things like kind of all in that realm of it. I don't really read much romance. I don't read like fantasy really. But I started this series that just sounded like a really bad fun time, okay? It's called the Dark Olympus series, and I believe the author is Katie Robert. I'll put it on the screen so I don't forget. But I got interested in it because, like I said, I'm a big Greek, or did I say this? I don't know. I'm a big Greek mythology girl. I love the classics. I love the Greeks. I love Greek literature. I love everything about the Greeks. I'm a big fan of the Greeks, okay? So naturally, I love Greek mythology, and I was kind of doing a deep dive into Hades, the god, which I've done a video on Hades before, sometime last year. So if you're interested in Hades, you should go back and watch that. It's not a very good video, but like the information was good, but I feel like it was just really awkward, but whatever. So anyways, like I said, am very interested in Hades, and I was kind of doing more research on him because I've just had a really hard time finding anything about him, really. Like, he's just not a very well documented god because the Greek people were afraid to write about him, to talk about him, to like mention him in any way, really, because they thought that invited death into their homes, which, valid fear. But all that to say, I was like, I just need something about Hades. I don't even care what it is. I don't care if it's fiction. I don't care if it was written in 1492. I don't care if it was written in 2026. I'm gonna read it. So as I did this research, I discovered this series called the Dark Olympus series by Katie Robert, and the first book is called Neon Gods, and it's about Hades and Persephone, and it's like kind of a modern retelling of their story. It was a bad fun time. It was a bad fun time to the fullest extent of the word. Like, it was a really good mix of plot and smut, which usually I'm not a smut reader. Well, typically I'm not a smut reader. Like, when I sit down and open a book, I'm not choosing a smut book. But I read this and I was like, I had a great time. It was a really, really good mix of, like, it had a lot of good plot elements that was easy to follow. The plot was easy to follow, all of these. I just felt like it was a decent book for, what it was about. So I then learned that there's like 8 or 9 books in this series, and they're all about different Greek gods. So then I was like, oh my god, I should just read more of these. It's nice to get through books really quickly because they're just like, you don't have to do much thinking. It's just, bad fun time, like I said. So I read the third one, which is about Helen, Achilles, and Patroclus, which Achilles and Patroclus, don't even get me started. I've talked about them in other videos too, especially when I was reading the Iliad like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. So then I skipped at the third book, the one about Helen, Achilles, and Patroclus, and then I went back to the second one, which is about Eros and Psyche, and now I'm on the fourth one or the fifth one. I don't remember. I've been skipping around a lot, and this one's about Cassandra and Apollo. And I will say it's not as good as the other ones I've read so far. It's taking me a little longer to get through it. It's not bad, but I'm just like kind of bored, low-key. So maybe I'll DNF it, but I don't know. Anyways, I've just really enjoyed reading this series. It's like a nice change from the heavy stuff that I typically read. I feel like I have this, I don't know if it's like a moral standing or something, where I just can't read books that don't do something for my brain. Like, I just have a hard time engaging in them. Like, when I'm not learning something, I'm like, what even is the point of reading it? But I feel like the series is helping me kind of move past that a little bit, or just like help be more okay with wanting to read books that don't do something for my brain, Anyways, so I really enjoyed the first, second, and third book in that series, but I can't speak for the rest of it yet. So yeah, the Dark Olympus series. And then, okay, the next thing I read was Ninth House and Hellbent, which is the first 2 books in a series by Leigh Bardugo, and I believe the third book is coming out later this year. Oh my god, you guys. Okay, I've heard people talk about Leigh Bardugo all the time on the internet. Everyone talks about Six of Crows. I was like, I don't like book talk. It's just not my vibe, right? I also just don't like fantasy. But I've gotten more into a certain type of fantasy because of R.F. Kuang, who wrote Babel and Catabasis, and I read both of those last year, and I loved them. I was like, okay, this is the kind of fantasy that I can work with. It's very academic focused. Like, I can tell that there's a lot of research that went into them. It's like, Catabasis is all about the descent into hell and like going through the different rings of hell, like that Dante talked about in his writings, which very much like aligns with the stuff that I like in classical literature. So I feel like this year I'm really finding my paths into other types of literature that I can enjoy that maybe aren't like exactly what I would want myself to be reading. I don't know if that's not a very good explanation, but I've tried to be more open to other genres of books and other interpretations of things. So Babel and Catabasis were great. I loved them so much. But I read those last year. So then I read Ninth House was it this month? No, I mean last month. I think it was early February, and I blew through it. I got through it in like 3 or 4 days. So good. So much, like, to me it definitely felt very R.F. Kuang, but less academic. R.F. Kuang's research is very much based in like real world things. I'm having a hard time forming my thoughts for some reason. I'm so sorry. Like real world things that happen, real world literature, and Ninth House is more based on its own world building and like its own magical texts and all of these things. And Hellbent was also about a descent into hell, as per the title, right? Hellbent. And both Catabasis and Hellbent are about going to hell to bring someone back, and that's just, I love Hades, as I said. I love Dante's Inferno. I love all the things about a descent, or about like just that side of it. So I really loved the Ninth House series. I'm so excited for the third book to come out. Okay, and the last one is one that I actually read for my class and I adored. I've been taking an 18th century, well, actually I don't know if it's a Gothic literature course, and we read A Sicilian Romance by Anne Radcliffe. We also read The Castle of Otranto and a few other stories, but A Sicilian Romance was the one that really stuck with me for some reason. Anne Radcliffe's writing is so atmospheric, and like her descriptions of the world are so beautiful, like landscapes. Oh my god, I just fell in love with it, and I felt like the book was really easy to get through, which might have just been a me thing, because I talked to some of my classmates about it and they disagreed that it was easy to get through, which is so backwards, because I had a hard time getting through The Castle of Otranto and other people were saying that they got through that one really fast. So I feel like it just kind of depends on your interests and what styles of writing you like, but for me, A Sicilian Romance was super easy to get through, and I was just in love with how atmospheric Radcliffe's writing is. I thought it was so beautiful. Okay, that's it for books. I feel like I could just yap this. Oh my god, I need to get a move on. 25 minutes and counting. Okay, next up for TV shows. I haven't been watching a lot of movies, and I typically don't watch a lot of shows, but I've been watching Moomin, which Moomin and I have some history, well, not Moomin, but Tove Jansson and I have some history. I read her book, The True Deceiver, I think around this time last year, and I loved it. I loved her writing, and I also read Fair Play by Tove Jansson. And then as I was getting more into her books and like what she's written, I discovered that she's the creator of Moomin, the cartoon. It's a book series, but also the cartoon. And so I've been watching Moomin to like fall asleep or just wind down, and it's so pure and just like heartwarming and very seasonal, which I love. There's a lot of episodes about winter, there's a lot of episodes about spring and summer and fall. Like I just adore that, and it's so cozy, and there's like, it's very predictable in the sense of like a children's cartoon where they go on an adventure, there's a conflict, and then the conflict is resolved and everyone's happy at the end. Each episode is like that. And sometimes that's just what I need. I need something predictable, something that like is going to make me feel good and I know it's going to be resolved in the end. Something just comforting, like a warm bowl of soup. That's how Moomin feels to me. Anyways, so I've been watching that so much, and that animation from the 90s is just so beautiful too. Okay, next up, let's talk about music. Winter is usually a time where I go back and kind of fall back in love with a lot of the same albums, and one of the albums that I come back to every single winter, sometimes it leaves me speechless. I love this album so much, but Turn on the Bright Lights by Interpol. Is one of the most perfect albums ever created of all time. It is in my top 3 albums of all time, absolutely. It's just even so hard for me to like form words about it. I just think that album is the core of winter. It is exactly what winter feels like to me. It perfectly encapsulates the season. No notes. That's all I'm gonna say. It doesn't even need more than that. As for newer music, or music that's new to me as of this winter, one of the albums I have been loving, and I think it's going to be the perfect transition album from winter to spring, and I know I'm going to be frequenting it all spring and summer as well, is Realistic by Ivy. And I think this album is a winter album for me because I discovered it in the winter, but it's very much like as this year progresses, it's going to be a spring and summer album, and I already know it. So I love Get Enough, which is the first song on the album. I also love 15 Minutes, and I love Shallow. It's very indie rock, so if you like kind of the feel of local bands, you know, like local music, it kind of gives that, like that Ivy could be the band next door, you know, or like you go see them at a house show or something. They kind of give that calm indie rock vibe, but I really love the singer's voice. It's very unique. I don't know, it's just so feel good, and I've loved it so much this entire season. The next one is just a song, Piazza, the New York Catcher by Belle and Sebastian. Quick side note, when I first found this song, I could not remember where it sounded familiar from, but I realized it's from the Juno soundtrack. So if you were wondering that same thing, yes, it's from the Juno soundtrack.
Elope with me, most private, and we'll sail around the world. I will be your Ferdinand, and you my wayward girl.
I'm getting very into Belle and Sebastian this season for some reason. That one, winter is also the season for me where I dive really deep into 2000s college bands. Like, obviously Interpol to me is a winter band generally, and they fit into that, but also like I listen to a lot of Death Cab for Cutie, Postal Service, Iron and Wine, what else? Sufjan Stevens. I hope I'm saying his name right. I think it's Sufjan Stevens, not with a J. Sufjan. Some indie bitch is probably gonna correct me in the comments, but whatever. Yeah, Piazza, the New York Catcher, I really love that song. It's just, I don't know, it feels like the college experience that I never had. Oh well. The next one is also shoegaze, is very wintry to me. So that's kind of a genre that I frequent a lot in the winter. And one of the songs that I discovered this year that I really, really, really love is Shirley Temple Tidal Wave by Ariel. The cover of this album is amazing. The song is amazing. It's so floaty and ethereal, and it very much fits into the other playlists of songs that I put together with winter shoegaze. Very much fits in with like the Slow Dive, the Cocteau Twins, let me think what else. The In April March, the Autumn's Gray Solace, like that vibe. The next one is another just regular song, A Kiss from an Old Flame by Mercury Rev. It's a song that a friend sent to me. He recommended it, and I was like, oh my god, dude, this song is freaking amazing. It's so fun. It's so, like, I don't know. Like, it's just a song you want to listen to with your windows rolled down. And I think it is very wintry to me, again, because I discovered it in the winter. But I feel like this is definitely a song I'm going to take with me into spring and summer, because I can see it, like, full blast with my windows down on a sunset drive, you know, that kind of vibe. Okay, that's it for music. I'm trying to speedrun it because this video is getting way too long. Internet things. I've really tried hard these past few months to kind of stay off of the internet generally, or just like be better about my time on it, using it more purposefully. And some of the creators I've been loving, number one, Frederick Atkinson. I love his content. Like I said, I'm very much like a classical literature girl, and I love English literature as well, but hearing him talk about the stuff that he loves is so like inspiring. I don't know, it's just so nice to see like a man that, like, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know, I feel like I just haven't seen an internet man as genuinely passionate about literature as this man in forever, and it's like such a nice, comforting thing to see. He also makes YouTube videos, and he posts on TikTok and Instagram, but I usually just watch his TikToks. But he often like focuses on one book. Like he was talking about the Brontes a while ago. I think it was kind of around the Wuthering Heights stuff. There's this play that he was obsessed with for a while, but I just love his content. Like, it's just so, I don't know, I love learning something new about things that I haven't read yet. So that's been really fun. The next one is another TikTok creator. Her username is Triana Med, and she makes these really, really whimsical Tuscan-esque 2000s TikToks. Like, the editing is just so beautiful and so unique. Big props to her for that, because everything, like, her content just looks so good, and it's so much fun and very, like, reminiscent of the 2000s in a very genuine way. And her videos, like, I'm just mesmerized by them, by the way that she edits them. So definitely check her stuff out. The next two are, like, kind of music channels, or, like, ambient channels. So the first one is called Universal Ambience. I have been so in love with this channel. Like, this is probably my most viewed and watched YouTube channel so far of this year. But basically, it's like this creator makes typically 1 hour ambient videos based off of a painting, and the paintings are all based off locations. So the ones I love the most are the ones that are, like, themed around Greece or Athens, Sparta, all these different things. And I love listening to them or listening to them while I'm reading or doing research about Hades or anything. So it's just fun to, like, have those on in the background, kind of as an immersive experience. They're very calming, very well done. Like, yeah, and I love it so much. And there's so many options, and this creator uploads stuff so frequently, like usually every day or every 2 days, or at least that's what it's been recently. And it's just so fun because there's, like, a location for everyone. There's things that are based in, like, the United States, things that are based all around the world, and I've just really enjoyed watching them. The next one is prs-300, which is another YouTube channel that does, like, oldies from another room kind of vibe. Loved the winter videos that they created this past year, especially, like, around the Christmas time. A lot of very snowy ones, which I still love and I still watch. They're just something about snowy ambiance is so comforting to me, especially with, like, the oldies in another room type beat playing. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. prs-300 is a channel that I frequented for probably a year now, but I feel like I just enjoyed that channel way more this winter with, like, all the new stuff that they've been putting out. But yeah, so that's it for internet things. And the last category is perfume, and both of these scents are Le Labo scents, which neither of them I have a full size of. They're both, like, ones that I've tried based off of samples. But the first one is the Matcha 26, which I got a sample of in Nordstrom, which, shout out Nordstrom if you didn't know, you can go in and typically you can request samples instead of having to buy them from, like, big perfume brands. You can't do it at a Nordstrom rack, I don't think. But I went into, like, a big Nordstrom and asked if I could have some samples, and they said yeah. So I've tried the Matcha 26, and I love it so much. That scent is so wonderful. And the other one I've tried is the Noir 29, which is probably my favorite scent that I've tried in forever. Like, probably within the past year, I would say. It's very tea heavy, very black tea heavy. It just smells like a good brew in, like, the most womanly, I don't know, it just makes me feel like a woman, like, older and more mature. And I think Le Labo does a great job of capturing a lot of niche, is that a word? More niche scents. Like, I just haven't really ever found a tea scent that I loved as much as the Noir 29. So, okay, well, that's everything I have to say. I know that was a really long list. This video is almost 40 minutes long. Thank you so much for being here and for watching.